What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here. Hope you're doing well. Things are getting ugly out here. Charles Hoskinson on CoinDesk today saying maybe Brad Garlinghouse is addicted to hanging with Trump, addicted to the power. It's getting to the best of him. He's not thinking clearly. Charles Hoskinson can't believe the Ripple CEO would support the Clarity Act. There's this back and forth here. Do we push for a better bill, the perfect bill? When do we have to say enough? And I think right now is a good time to push back, but we have to remember if we push too far after the midterms, as he brings up here, you're probably going to have either Congress or the Senate flip, probably both. Do you think in that environment, and crypto shouldn't be a political issue, but it is, in that environment, do you think we're going to get a better deal with Democrats controlling Congress? Probably not. 2028, I mean, no one knows what's going to happen there. You might in 2028 have Elizabeth Warren writing the rules of the road here. And they're not going to be good ones. And they're not going to play these little games. They're not going to ask for crypto's input here. They'll rush it out so quick. They should have done it the last time. That was a big mistake, just attacking with the courts. They should have wrote the rules of the game. They're not going to misstep again. If this thing doesn't get done, you very well may have a bill written by Elizabeth Warren or somebody worse. Gary Gensler 2.0, but with regulations instead of just court cases. This has to happen. We have to have protection. Because without that, banks, financial institutions, tech companies, they're not stupid. They're not going to start building or investing into this space because they know now you're in a precarious situation. And guess what? That great XRP and Ripple ruling we like to tout, that means nothing if they write new laws. That nullifies everything. It would affect everything here within crypto. Now, Democrats shouldn't be inherently anti-crypto. Now, most of your tech giants in the world are Democrats, but currently it is political. That's the reality, and I feel we need to secure what we can here, push for a better bill, but eventually you got to get this done. You're not going to get a better administration that from the top to the bottom have massive investment in this space. It's been popular politically for them. They don't want to lose that before the midterms. This is our shot. We must strike while the iron is hot, and I understand what Charles is upset about. But it's not Brad. It's not just Brad pushing for the Clarity Act. It's Brad and most of the other industry, whether it's Circle, Kraken, you name it. There's just a few people that are throwing their hands up saying, we can't support this at all. We'd rather have no bill. And I think they're bluffing a bit. It is best for everyone to do a deal here. Again, if they don't, what the banks don't want, being able to earn yield on your stable coins, well, that's going to be the law. And crypto, at least for the next few years, we'll be able to do exactly that. For crypto, we have no protection going forward. Your banks, your financial institutions, they want to start onboarding people specifically with RWA. So there's enough here for everyone to come together and get this done, but they have to. We cannot walk away because it will not get better than here for us. I can tell you that for sure. Now we see this article here. XRP price prediction. When traders get this quiet, we've seen this before. XRP has a history of going wild. Is it about to happen again? Traders have gone unusually quiet on XRP, and history shows this is when things absolutely explode. We've seen this time and time again. Now, this isn't a really scientific fact, of course, but if you've been around, you know that's true. It lulls you to sleep, and then kaboom, it goes and takes off like nothing else. I'll tell you this, I think if it's going to happen, probably the first quarter of this year is when you will see that start happening. It must happen before the doldrums, and one of the biggest catalysts here will be if we get a Clarity Act done. If that happens, you're going to see capital come flooding into this space. Now, I saw this breaking news from Leader Alpha, which is a great account. He says Flare Network spot trading will go live on Binance very soon. But I also saw this from Flare Community, who's really smart and knows a lot. He says the FLR Binance listing rumors are just that, rumors, with X increasing payments to creators. Watch out. You're making a lot more money now on X than you ever have. Not like YouTube, but again, more money than we saw in the past. You're incentivized to try to get views and likes. You're going to see more of these rumors that appear out of thin air to get more, action there on your X account. This is going to happen sooner than later. I mean, this is a smart contract blockchain. This is got novel capability for AI systems. Like Flare is going to get listed on Binance. It's already on a lot of the competitors. It's going to be a hot token when this market really catches fire. So I'm not worried about the Binance listing at all. But again, Leader Alpha, I've seen some good posts by this person. Do they know something? Do they hear something? Well, we will see. But sooner than later, it's going to happen. That's what I'd tell you. Coinbase forms board to assess quantum computing risk to blockchain. We're hearing a lot about this, and for good reason. We have to prepare. We have to prepare ahead of time. Of course, we saw with AI. I was doing videos. Hey, we're probably 5 years, 10 years away from AI really catching fire, and then bam, out of nowhere, you've seen the scaling and the progress we've made in very short order. It's going to happen in quantum. It already is happening in quantum. But what I would tell you is this: there's a little bit of an alarmistness out there, because if you have a quantum computer before everyone else and you're able to crack into stuff, the last thing you're going to go after is crypto. It's a liquid. The minute you break it, it goes to zero. It has no value. You're going to break into traditional banking systems, most likely military systems, things of that nature. That's the high value stuff here, where you're actually going to commandeer a lot of value. Probably not so much, blockchains, but just the way I see it. But we need to prepare for that. Make no mistake. NASDAQ moves to remove position limits on Bitcoin, Ether, ETF options. And basically, what they're saying is they need to eliminate these contract caps on crypto ETF options. A change, NASDAQ argues, would address unequal treatment in the derivatives market. We need to treat this like a growing up, investment class. This isn't kindergarten anymore. We don't need special limits. Treat this like you would gold or silver, oil contracts, whatever. Pull off all these restrictions. Of course, this can be good and bad at a given moment, but long term, this is about graduating into a real asset class. These are the fastest growing ETFs ever. We don't need to have restrictions. I think that will happen. You will treat crypto ETFs just like anything else. Crypto's next battle is privacy, but regulators face chicken and egg dilemma. This is important to understand. This is going to be a big area of crypto, and for the reason it says here. Crypto moves into banks and state-backed systems. It's accelerating a clash between financial privacy, which is a must, and public ledger design. Everything's public. The government, they don't want you seeing where they're spending all their money, right? Same thing with banks, where people are doing transactions. There's all sorts of information you could derive from that kind of thing. They can't have it. You have to have privacy, but not secrecy. If we were going to mirror this back to what's going on right now with the Clarity Act, as crypto enthusiasts, we should demand absolute secrecy like you get with Monero. But you're integrating with actual financial systems, so you're going to have to play by their rules to some degree. If you want to be all about the crypto ethos, use things like Monero. Great, it's there. Those tools are always there for us. But if you want to integrate with Bank of America and government systems and things like this, you have to make some concessions here and make systems that will work with the modern world. And that's what we see here. We have to have privacy, so it's not secret from everybody, but you obscure transactions from the general public, things like this. But if you have to give those to transactions to regulators, to the government, to crime units, whatever, you can do so. Those have to be available. You cannot have absolute secrecy. They're trying to figure this out. XRP Ledger, they're working on this a lot. You just need this if you're going to be onboarding, again, finance, government, all sorts of stuff like that. You have to have privacy, and they're working really hard to figure out a solution. I love this clip. Saw this on Yahoo Finance today. This interviewer says, I don't understand your business to strategy. Yahoo Finance questioning strategy's business model. The strategy CEO says, well, it takes a bit of mental gymnastics. It should not. It should be clear as day. You should be able to, just talk about your raw business strategy, especially when your name is strategy, without confusing people. And you can't, because it doesn't make any sense. Essentially, you're going to borrow money forever to infinity. And eventually, that's going to be problematic, in my opinion. But mental gymnastics should not be involved when you're trying to understand someone's business. SEC and CFTC to push united crypto work. I see a lot of people that are worried about the SEC having too much power. CFTC can be just as anti-crypto depending on who you put in charge over there. There's nothing inherently safer about the CFTC. Both of these, right now, if you have to deal with Paul Atkins, pretty good guy to deal with. That's not too bad. You'd get a lot of good things done, as we see happening on a daily basis. That doesn't mean that in the future you can't get, if you don't have laws, if you don't have regulations, you can't get a really nasty head of the CFTC, and they can give you all the same trouble that we saw with the SEC. It doesn't really mean much of anything. ARK Invest sees Bitcoin and tokenization driving the next phase of digital asset growth. And tokenization is so big. You have 4 billion people that don't have access to financial markets, to reasonable investments. And if you onboard those people and allow them to participate, in markets, taking out positions in major assets, this is going to be a boom. And this is why everyone from BlackRock to JP Morgan, they want RWA tokenization. And further, that's why I think this deal gets done, because they need this. They need to close those inefficiency gaps. They need to make sure you can reach people globally. And that's it. RWA tokenization, autonomous markets, being able to reach people in any territory, that's going to be the game changer. And so much money is going to come flood in here. It is ridiculous. Iran turns to crypto assets to offset their currency crisis here. We see the central bank of Iran bought more than $500 million in backed digital assets in the past year to mitigate a currency crisis and bypass U.S. sanctions. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times we look at use cases and go, I don't like that use case. I don't like what that regime is doing. It's still a valid use case. And other people are going to use this for similar things. The U.S. someday may not be the one in charge of financial systems globally, may not be SWIFT, might be something else, might be China that is sanctioning us. You need these types of ancillary systems to be able to still operate with the world. Plus, we see a bifurcated world emerging here where those previous systems may not work, and you need decentralized systems like this still to settle trade and be able to move money around. It may be more important than we've seen ever as we go forward. And again, this world is literally split in half. That's what we see happening. And crypto is going to be the saving grace there. We have to have that. Lastly, I saw this from the WEF Davos 2026. Trump is just saying we need to make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. Again, it's a political thing. He has a lot of money vested in this space. I think his crypto right now is worth more than his real estate. Believe that. That is wild. Now's the time to get a deal done. And it's probably not going to be so advantageous in the future. Yeah, don't just say, okay, we'll take what we can get. Push forever, but know where that line is that you don't go over and you blow this thing up. Get it done. And we're going to see so much money flowing into this space. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.